solution. Maybe it's something you can look into one-on-one as a consultant. Sina swali bado nilipata.
I have a kind of question. What causes the jerking in the car when you reverse or when you accelerate? I don't know if Team Alviera facing the same thing, but mine has been misbehaving.
Jacking comes in one way or the other, but where have you been doing your service? German digital.
Maybe she also does it at home.
Because jacking comes only on the airflow sensor and fuel pump. Because when you have the jacking, it means that your vehicle is not having the momentum to move. Either air ratio is poor or fuel ratio is poor. So it's called a diagnosis that you start from scratch, from A to Y, or A to Z. Then that takes time. But as time goes on, you've been told, give the technician the right thing. My car jacks, what's the issue? I'm not having a smooth ride, why is it? Then from there, he'll decide either to look at the fuel, or either to look at the plugs, or either to look at the coils, or maybe the gearbox oil is dirty, or maybe the sensors of the VVTi are not working properly. They're not initializing themselves. And that starts from mechanical to electrical. Where we put the machine, we diagnose everything through. We see the sensors are working okay according to the parameters. Then from there we can decide where the issue is.
Okay, anyone else?
Na mtu mwingine nimalizie.
This one I'm asking on behalf of my friends because I have ni watu wa Toyota. No offense, kuna watu walitaja Toyota, but I have friends who are used to amepitisha service, anaongeza that thing called MOTORSHAWA. What do I advise them?
MOTORSHAWA is not advisable. MOTORSHAWA is used in the older model vehicles, not these newer models. What happens to the MOTORSHAWA? It clogs the system of the gallery of the oils. It's a heavy thing. We only use it in the mechanical vehicles. We don't have electrical, especially like the Pajeros that we have, which is a 4056, 4M40. Those are the vehicles that we use that, because the galleries of the oil do not channel to a sensor. If you use that where it channels to a sensor, it clogs it. And from there you start saying, oh, you get in a nguvu, you get in a jizimazima. Those are the things you should look at. And remind you one thing, these vehicles use synthetic oil. Never dare use the standard oil. The only vehicles that use the standard oil are Pajeros. I see you have a big group. And also on the Pajeros, we have the latest ones which have come out, the 4M41s and the V6, like the 3.8. The 3.8 liter, we use the synthetic oil, which is 5W30. That one is common. But never pass the 7,000 kilometer interval. You rather strain yourself to change the oil in the oil filter, and mostly the air cleaner plays. Whatever damages our engines is the air cleaner. The dirt goes inside the system, mix it with the oil, and it comes out to be a grinding paste. The more it grinds, the more it will spoil your engine. Most of our vehicles like mine have gone almost 200 to 300,000 kilometers, and I've never changed the engine or never done any overhaul. So those things you should keep in mind. There are so many things that I can tell you, but as a one-on-one, when you're free, or when you're having lunch, when you're talking, when you're having a drinks, we can discuss everything. That's no big issue.
All right. I have 3 questions for you before you leave. Maybe you take the shortest time possible. 3. One of them, we have a crisis in Kenya with garages where they disappeared something called catalytic converter. First of all, what is it? Why do they remove it? How do they remove it? And how do you know they have removed it or not? Secondly, is the issues of fuel saving. The guys who come around, they say they're selling gadgets that you put on your car to save on fuel. Does it work? And last one, which one was it? You continue with the 2, as I remember the other one. Very quickly.
Okay, we come to the catalytic converter. The catalytic converter is designed only for European and Asian countries, not in Africa. Now, if you bring a car from Japan or from Europe, you'll have to leave that catalytic converter there. And when you've taken it for service, you'll realize on the sound of the vehicle, it will be very high, and the vehicle won't have power, because the sensors which are there on the catalytic won't pick. and you'll have a check engine light. Most of the technicians have seen what they're doing. When they remove your catalytic converter, they bypass the sensors. So you won't know. But on the sound of the engine, if you're used to your vehicle, you'll know. The only vehicles that we approve to remove the catalytic converters are the Pajeros for Japan and Europe, but not for these vehicles. Make sure you listen to your vehicle, understand your vehicle, because one small mistake on this one, you'll be having a damage. That catalytic converter on the Mitsubishi's Galant 40s is 100,000 once they remove it. So make sure you understand your vehicle.
Yes, the second one is whether or not the machine, they sell you gadgets that they say reduces your fuel consumption. Does it work?
Okay, that thing has been very common, and I advise you on one thing. The only thing that we put those machines on those gadgets are used to just control your feet. It's the same way as you're looking at your rev counter. If you play around with your rev counter between the rev of 1500 to 25, the consumption is low. If you press it to 3000 or 4000, the consumption is high. So even if you buy those things, you're still running the same way.
Okay. And lastly, when it comes to smoke, there's different types of smoke that your car produces when it runs. When do you know that your car has a problem according to the smoke that produces?
We have two types of smoke, a blue one and a black one. The blue one is oil. Consumption of oil is too high. The black one is maybe the rich mixture of fuel is high. The air ratio is more than the fuel, or maybe the fuel ratio is higher than the air mixture. And that one, you use a machine to detect the problem. It's just to show you where the problem is. And another smoke is a white one. If you see a white smoke in your vehicle, you know the fuel that you're using in your vehicle is wrong. Either you've been That's when you know. There are only three types of smoke. And when you see the smoke in the morning, the mist, don't be worried. Your engine is good.
All right. Thank you so much. And when you travel and your woman calls you and tells you in the morning that the car is not neaning, how do you know? How do you know what the problem is with the car? Unajuaje shida ni gani?
Hi, Sayo finishes one tip. I think Jose had that issue as we were going to Oloitoktok. Someone mentioned it, the overheating. So I think Sayo can attest to that. Some of the Outlanders come with an extra cooler for the gearbox. So if you get that issue, it's always advisable to do that. And even the gallants have that partition somewhere. So if it overheats, talk to Sayo or Sang. They should help you get that. But don't try and, or we sponsor Jose, get a cooler and yeah, with his 4B11. So anyway, so if you get that error, just stop pushing the car, let it cool down, give it I'm talking from experience. Kahiga knows. Yeah. So what he did to my car, he knows. So just if you get that error, just let the car cool for a while, then now go get an extra cooler. Aya, asanteni. Tunaweza enda ukula sasa, kati saache kuniangalia vibaya.
All right. Okay, thank you so much. That was Mechanic 101. And I hope Mumelan Pigeni Makofi. Is there something new you've learned today? Have you learned something new today? Is anyone who has learned something new? All of you have learned. You guys were hearing nothing. Hakuna kitu mmesikia mpya. Have you learned something new about your car? Are you going to be a better driver? And there's a difference between being a driver and being a car owner. A car owner wakes up in the morning, chigigigi, as long as it's bora inanguruma, anaenda. A car owner, when he wakes up in the morning, or she wakes up in the morning, opens up the bonnet, checks the oil level, checks the water level, checks everything. Yes, that is a car owner. Lakini a driver, anaamusha, anapiga, anaenda. Mpaka ile siku kwenye itakosa kutembea. Please be a car owner, not a car driver. All right, let's break for lunch, and then we come back, we continue the programming. Thank you. Chachi, lunch iko tayari? Haya. Tuanze na wapi? Ladies first. The men, we can survive anything. Ladies first.